Hello, everyone. Sue.oneschuk here to continue our lessons from the workbook of A Course in Miracles. And today we are at review 4. And we'll also be doing lesson 141 in the review. And I will start off by reading the introduction here from the workbook. So it says, now we review again, this time aware we are preparing for the second part of learning how the truth can be applied. Today, we will begin to concentrate on readiness for what will follow next. Such is our aim for this review and for the lessons following. Thus, we review the recent lessons and their central thoughts in such a way as we facilitate the readiness that we would now achieve. There is a central theme that unifies each step in the review we undertake, which can be simply stated in these words. My mind holds only what I think with God. So that is the fact and represents the truth of what you are and what your Father is. It is this thought by which the Father gave creation to the Son, establishing the Son as co-creator with himself. It is this thought that fully guarantees salvation to the Son. For in his thought, no thoughts, let me say that again, for in his mind, no thoughts can dwell, but those his Father shares. Lack of forgiveness blocks this thought from his awareness, and yet it is forever true. Let us begin our preparation with some understanding of the many forms in which the lack of true forgiveness may be carefully concealed. Because they are illusions, they are not perceived to be but what they are. Defenses that protect your unforgiving thoughts from being seen and recognized. Their purpose is to show you something else and hold correction off through self-deceptions made to take its place. And yet your mind holds only what you think with God. Your self-deceptions cannot take the place of truth. No more than a child who throws a stick into the ocean can change the coming and going of the tides, the warming of the water by the sun, the silver of the moon on it by night, nor so do we start each practice period in this review with readying our minds to understand the lessons that we read and see the meaning that they offer us. Begin each day with time devoted to the preparation of your mind to learn what each idea you will review that day can offer you in freedom and in peace. Open your mind and clear it of all thoughts that would deceive, and let this thought alone engage it fully and remove the rest. My mind holds only what I think with God. 5 minutes with this thought will be enough to set the day along the lines which God appointed. To place his mind in charge of all the thoughts you'll receive that day. They will not come from you alone, for they will be shared with him. And so each one will bring the message of his love to you, returning messages of yours to him. So will communion with the Lord of hosts be yours, as he himself has willed it be. And as his own completion joins with him, so will he join with you who are complete as you unite with him and he with you. After your preparation, merely read each of the 2 ideas assigned to you to be reviewed that day. Then close your eyes and say them slowly to yourself. There is no hurry now, for you are using time for its intended purpose. Let each word shine with the meaning God has given it. And as It was given to you through his voice. Let each idea which you review that day give you the gift that he has laid in it for you to have of him. And we will use no format for our practicing, but this. Each hour of the day, bring to your mind the thought with which the day began and spend a quiet moment with it. Then repeat the two ideas you practiced for the day unhurriedly with time enough to see the gifts that you contain for you, and let them be received where they were meant to be. We add no other thoughts, but let these be the messages they are. We need no more than this to give us happiness and rest and endless quiet, perfect certainty in all our Father wills that we receive as the inheritance we have of him. Each day of practice, as we review, we close as we began, repeating for first the thought that made the day a special time of blessing and of happiness for us, and through our faithfulness, restored the world from darkness to light, from grief to joy, from pain to peace, and from sin to holiness. God offers thanks to you, whose practice thus the keeping of God offers thanks to you who practice thus the keeping of his word. And as you give your mind to the ideas for the day again before you sleep, his gratitude surrounds you in the peace wherein he wills you be forever, and are learning now to claim again your inheritance. So I have some notes here that are I've taken from takemetoTruth.com, and that's nooksanchez.com can be found there as well. There's some valuable information there that I rely on to expand my experience, my understanding and experience of the Course in Miracles, and in applying it to my life. So here's what I want to share with regards to this review, and that our mind holds only what I think with God. So here's what's so. God created each one of us in a unique combination of qualities, and as an unique expression. These thoughts come to our awareness, and then we further express them. These thoughts from God, we extend them, and this is what we call creation. So there is only one kind of thought in our mind, and it is a thought that originates in the mind of God, and there is no other. So, but this idea that we have elected a thought system, and that we allow to be a substitute mind. First of all, it is not a mind. I'm talking here now about what we call the ego thought system. It is a suggested thought system of opposites of what God's mind is opposite of what God's mind is declaring. And that is not a mind. It is not intelligence. But the way the ego is programmed is that it is constantly sending us suggestions of these opposites. So it mimics mind, but it is not mind. So we say my ego, and it's impossible that we or you can become an ego, because an ego is nothing more than like a program. So so it's a program that we have, that you have consented to. So you or we have downloaded it, and we think that it is our mind. So these thoughts come to and while we accept them as ours, we are giving them all the life that they have, but they are not actually intelligent, because they don't come from God. They do not come from God, and they're impersonal, and they're always dark. And those thoughts are always looking for fear. So again, that's all the ego thoughts. So here is where we make the positive separation from this, in that I am not the ego. You are not the ego. The mind, the ego mind, are not my thoughts. They're not your thoughts. These are the thoughts that create fear. A need to defend, or a pleasure impulse, where we want to seek for something. So these do not originate in what we are, because the only thoughts we hold are those thoughts from God. How do we know what is what here? Okay, so here it is. The thoughts for God bring a sense of peace. They never increase our fear. There is a sense of grace and love and gratitude always wells up when we are feeling thoughts with God and from God. Also shared innocence with everyone else. We see the innocence in everyone else. We share that innocence with everyone else, with all our brothers and sisters, because God's love is inclusive. Now, the ego thoughts, which we've made up and we've been programmed and we believe are real, they're not real. They're there to create a sense of separation, of fear, of guilt, of loss, that also that you need to do something. You need to defend yourself. You need to work harder. It creates that sense of fight or fright or freeze. Those are not our thoughts. So when sickness tempts you, it is not your thinking. I'm going to say that again, or another way. When sickness tempts you, is that your thinking? No. When images of lack are there, does that come from you? The real you? The holy self? No. So this is the practice of making positive separation, separating the thoughts of God and this ego thought system that we make real is not real. So it gives you some idea, again, of distinguishing that my mind holds only what I think with God. Now, on to lesson 141. And you're going to notice that these lessons are very short. So I will give a brief commentary or reflection on each one of these short lessons as we're going along for the next, I think there's 10 of these reviews. Maybe there's 20. There's at least 10. Okay, so the first thought to reflect on is from lesson 121, and the other is from lesson 122. And so lesson 121 is forgiveness is the key to happiness. And forgiveness from 122 is forgiveness offers everything I want. So our mind is in a constant state of contraction, so to speak. That is that the ego, our personal identity that we created, it's in fear, it's in guilt, it's looking at illusions and making them real, causing the mind, causing us stress, constantly in a space of judging, which is not natural to our mind. Our true nature is love. So our mind, it's employing, look how often the I know mind, all coming from the past, and the I know mind is independent, or independent of God. It's separated from God, and all of this produces guilt, stress, which results in sickness and self-attack, self-blame, relationship conflict, work conflict, problems. And it's all coming from a mind that is separate, and a mind that is really dis-eased. Break that down: dis-hyphenated eased. It's a mind at war. Just take a look at how your mind just wanders off in all of this state that it's suggested here. It keeps generating more and more stress. There's no peace in that. So, so can we find true happiness here? It finds the ego substitute for happiness. Again, the ego's substitute for happiness is the idols of the world. We go seeking the idols of the world, seeking in the world, which always, there's always fear of loss there, or something being destroyed and destroyed in relationships that we take from someone else, or someone takes from us. We, in that space, we are identifying ourselves as bodies, and it keeps us in misery. The Course says we're not a body. So with that, forgiveness is the key to happiness. So we forgive the separation. Forgive that the separation was even possible, or that it even occurred. We turn this ego mind, this ego thought system, these thoughts, away from this, and we ask the Holy Spirit to restore our mind to sanity, because none of this ego thought system is real. None of it's real. We make it real, and once we turn it all over, whenever we're triggered, whenever we're finding ourselves in any of this state of conflict, confusion, judgment, condemnation, etc., we turn it over to the Holy Spirit. It's then in that moment that we accept the mind of God. We're accepting the mind of God and turning it over to the Holy Spirit. And the mind of God, the mind, and we say, my mind, as it says in this lesson, my mind holds only the thoughts I think with God. So that's what these lessons will reinforce as we go forward with them. Again, forgiveness is the key to happiness. Forgiveness offers everything I want. And as we practice throughout the day, that we remind ourselves, as it's suggesting here, each hour of the day, that my mind holds only what I think with God. So that is the introduction to the review. And that is lesson 141. So do your very best, moment by moment, to recognize when you're out of your piece. I've mentioned that before in my practice of this course over the years. This is what's worked for me. I have a deeper sense today of when I'm out of my piece. I have more of an understanding or an awareness of when I'm triggered. And in that moment is I call in the Holy Spirit. Ask the Holy Spirit that I may see things differently. And in that, the miracle occurs, which is a shift in perception. But only when I allow the Holy Spirit to come in and give it all over and let it go. All right. That is our lesson for today. And thank you for being here. And I look forward to being with you in the for the next review lesson, which is lesson 142. All right. Let's continue to do your best. And I look forward to being with you in the next video. And please like, share, comment, and or subscribe if you haven't already. All right. As always, from my heart to yours, I extend much love to you. Bye for now.